Film Talk, and we're in the building.
Yeah.
Episode 13, and we're back with a regular.
This is my second time.
We got Jon Vargas.
Mr. Jonathan Vargas.
He's in the building.
How you doing? Peace, love, and happiness to you and everybody.
He's a filmmaker. What part? Where do you live by?
I'm in Broward now. I'm in Broward.
Okay, so you moved.
Yeah. I mean, I was in Broward anyway, but like now I'm a little more south in like Pembroke Pines, so I'm like closer to like Miami now, which is good because it's like, we can go get, meet up with actors and meet up with you, where before it was like an hour drive, now you're like 30 minutes away from me now.
Yeah, I noticed you were like, I'm about to head out. I'm like 40 minutes away. I was like, I thought you were like much further, like an hour and a half.
Because like the last time we did this, like 2 years ago, I was living with my mom's. Now I'm basically on my own right now.
Oh, so you moved out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So 2 years, man. It's been a while.
2 years. It's been a while. We got a lot to talk about now, especially from them 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like So, I mean, if anybody wants, they could go on YouTube, and on the same channel, we got our previous interview. We're probably episode 2 or 3, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Probably 3,
because I remember you, the first one was with Francie.
Francie and Mike, yeah.
Mike was second, and then I came third. Yeah, that's actually a good interview. If anyone wants to see, like, how much things have changed from now, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been like 2 years since like that last time, and like I feel like, especially then, I feel like not just me but you, I feel like we've matured not only as people but as filmmakers from that time, because like at that time, like, I feel like us filmmakers, like, we got egos, but at that time I was still immature and still green. But I feel like, especially from the experiences that I've learned, like, I feel like I've really matured from that time. And like I'm curious of what you got to ask me.
What do you think? Like, in which ways do you think you've matured?
I feel like from a visual storytelling aspect, where before, like, and I still am, like, because I like dialogue. I was heavy on dialogue, just heavy dialogue. But as time went on, like, especially just studying film and interacting with a lot of filmmakers and going to different film festivals and getting feedbacks, like, I've learned that, there's more to just talking. Like, you can actually tell a story through just by visual means. Like, you don't have to explain everything to everybody. And lately, especially with the last film that I just did, Loyalty and Betrayal, like, I was trying to experiment to see if I could tell a short film that I did where there's not a lot of dialogue. Like, let's see if the audience can figure out what's going on without the use of dialogue. So that's something that I want to continue doing, because, film is an art, man. And I feel like, it's cool to have dialogue, but if you got too much of it, if they're just explaining the whole story, then basically all it's basically like a radio interview. So like, I've learned, like, as time goes on, like, try to be a little bit more visual. And I feel like I'm still, rough around the edges, but I feel like I've improved a lot more, considering 2 years ago when I was still, like, not knowing what I was supposed to do at all. So yeah, that's how I feel right now. Like, I'm trying to, like, really be a little bit more visual in my work and just try to do different things than what I normally do. Like, right now I got this up and coming film. It's called Side Effects, which we did talk about 2 years ago, but it was with different actors, and I had a different mindset about it, where I wanted it to be serious, where this version of what I did is a full-blown over-the-top comedy, which will definitely be coming out very soon in 2018. Like, I know for a fact, I don't know when you're gonna drop this interview, but in a week or two.
We're dropping this tomorrow
on New Year's Eve.
Gotta start the new year fresh.
Well, why not New Year's Day?
Because they ain't ready for it.
Oh, they ain't ready for it. Okay.
Either tomorrow or the day after. I got a lot of stuff to edit, so we'll see how it goes. But, it should be good. So, I wanted to ask, like, I've lived out here in Kendall, out here in the Miami-Dade part so much. What do you think about, like, Broward in that area? Like, do you see any differences between the films you've seen and the people?
I feel like Broward is very chill. It's more like laid back, like we're just going through the motions. I'm not knocking anybody that's in Broward, because I stay in Broward too, but like, I feel like compared to like Miami, where Miami is very like artsy, it's very like visual, like they have a very different style, like they're a lot more fast paced and like up to like the tempo, and like I to be honest, like I'm very inspired by a lot of Miami filmmakers that I see, because like it's completely different from Broward, because Broward, like, I feel like Broward filmmakers, from what I'm seeing, not all of them, just from what I've seen, it's like, I feel like they're decent, but it's like in terms of like a visual storytelling process compared to Miami, it's nothing. But then again, it's like, you know, you got Wynwood where it's just full of artists, where like in Broward, I mean it's there, but it's like it's not as big as Miami. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Broward is just, I feel like there's not a lot of filmmakers that are out there that to represent Broward by any means. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think of a filmmaker, you think of like, oh, they're from Miami. So like I feel like there should be like a filmmaker or two to just say like, yo, I'm from Broward, not Miami. Like they need to put a stamp out and like, this is what we do in Broward.
Do you represent Broward, or what do you represent?
I represent me.
Okay.
Like I don't represent.
So forget
like,
Broward. We're not repping Broward.
I don't rep anything. I don't rep anything. I just represent me. This is like this is what I do. Like I don't go out here and say, yo, I'm coming from Broward County. But like, to be honest, I get it. I understand why people do that, but I've come to stop doing that because if you really think about it, nobody cares where you're from. They only care about what you put out there.
They care when you make it.
Exactly. They care when you make it.
When you make it, they're like, wow, he's from, like, Oscar Isaac. He's from Kendall.
It's like, yeah, but you know what? I guarantee you an average person don't care what Oscar Isaac is from. Like, they care about what type of work he puts in. And I like Oscar Isaac, man. He's dope.
It's because he grew up in Kendall.
Okay.
Yeah, Kendall breeds many talents. There's a lot of great people from Kendall. Do you know there's an Amici's right here in the Hammocks, the one we ate at last time.
That's right, that pizza place.
And I think I told you that like some guy told me like, yeah, Michael Jordan's stepmom or somebody lives in Kendall, so like every time he comes to visit her, he comes to Amici's.
You kidding me, right? The God himself, Michael Jordan, be coming in that place. Yo, you know what? Hopefully one day we'll probably be in the restaurant. We'll see him. I'm gonna get that selfie. I know
he ain't gonna take a picture with you, bro. You never heard the story about him with Chameleonaire?
Not just him, but Nori. Did you hear about Nori?
He said like, I don't take pictures with black people, and they were like,
well, I'm gonna be like,
you were my hero.
I'm gonna be like, yo, look, I'll rock my Jordans. Like, yo, I bought your shit.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you bought it. Everybody bought his shoes. He doesn't care. He only takes pictures with you if you're worth more money than him.
That's true, like Jay-Z.
Yeah, so I don't know if we touched on the last one, but I wanted to know, how did you get into film? Like, where did you get that passion from?
Well, at first, we have spoke about this, but I kind of like BS'd it a bit. Like, I was always talking about how passionate I was. When I first started doing film, I'm not gonna lie, I mostly did it just to get attention. Because like at that time I thought like, yo, if I do this film stuff, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna be rich and famous. Like it was more like it, to be honest, at that time, like I pretended like I really was doing it for the arts, but I wasn't. But as time goes on, like you start to appreciate this a little more, and you start to realize like, yo, it's more than just fame. Like now I don't even care if I ever become famous. Like I care about if people watch my movies and they had a good time watching it, but I'm more passionate about putting work there. But like right now where I'm at, especially like if I ever make it, like I hope I can do like these independent films and still continue to like, you know, make a decent living out of it, which I don't, but like I would like to be, you know, I feel like if I continue doing this, I'm gonna be happy. Cause like before I was all about getting attention and all this and that, but like nah, I don't want that. Like to be honest, I'd rather be a filmmaker that does independent short films and I'll still be happy. Cause that to me is like that's my way of life. Like, you know what, just do films because you know what, that's what keeps me happy. That's what keeps me going because, you know, at the end of the day, like I wanted to think that like, yo, I'm gonna be like Steven Spielberg, make millions of dollars, but it's not like that. Like if that's your mindset, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna flop instantly. You gotta have a passion for this. You gotta go all in, which is why now, like, you know what, whether I make it or not, I'm still gonna be doing this until I'm an old man.
What do you think changed like your mindset?
I think it was when you have like a bunch of mature people talking to you and just letting you know, like, listen, bro, like, it's not all about the money and the fame. There's more behind this. I've had like, you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Rolando Venus. I hope I'm saying his last name right. I spoke to him a few times, man, and he was really smarting me up on the business and stuff. And it's like, you know,
see,
all
right, thank you. You let it in.
Mira, ahí está.
Yeah,
ahí está.
I'm not gonna kill it on camera because we don't do that.
Ahí está. Ahora se fue para allá.
Right. No problema, abuela. Estamos grabando ahora. Gracias.
Gracias.
She let the fly in and then she told us that there was a fly in.
You gonna edit that?
I'm gonna keep it in. I keep it all in.
I was gonna say, but
that's the part that people like the most is when like something crazy happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't edit that out. Keep that in, please. That's
why I do the long joints.
Yo, let me tell you something. You know your grandma did the same thing last time.
She does this every interview we do, or the dog comes in. The dog.
Oh, here comes the dog. Oh no, the dog's going that way.
He'll come in eventually. He's a little bored already. He's like, I've had enough of your interviews. Like, they're not interesting me. I'm not feeling that passion no more. But like,
but no,
yeah, no. Like, if I tell her like, yo, we're gonna shoot something, like, you know, give me 30 minutes, she'll literally just start washing dishes, and I'll be like, bro, you understand how like this works? Like, everything you're doing is completely wrong.
Well, at least she's not watching TV and cranking that thing up to
so
like 10.
That's why we're grateful, and that's why we support her. Thank you, abuelita.
Gracias. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, like I met like a few people that just kind of smart me up and was like just telling me like, this is how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not all about that. This is gonna take time. This is like, to be honest, like if you're gonna do this, you better be doing this for the long run, because you're not gonna make it like in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a filmmaker will not make it, depending on who he knows, depending on what he has, because there's filmmakers like me that's like, you know, we don't have the support that most filmmakers have, but like we're still on the grind and just trying to crank this stuff out here. Me right now, what I'm trying to do is just get better at what I'm doing and hopefully get someone's attention where it's like they can probably fund me to do a full-length feature film one day. That's the goal.
Yeah, I don't think filmmaking's like a cash grab. Like, it's not something to get in for money. But if you want to be a producer, maybe you can get some money. But if you have a passion just to make films because you have like an idea that's personal to you, or you just want to make a film because you love film, like, don't get used to having money.
No, don't at all. Do not. Like, you know what? My word of advice to anybody out there, like if you're trying to be a filmmaker, I highly recommend you have a degree in something else, because this is like, you know, at least have a plan B. Make sure you got a plan B, because, you know, you might not make it.
When I talk to filmmakers about like what they're doing, they're like, man, I'm just excited because, you know, I'm about to get my degree in this, so then I got money on the side so I can just keep making films. That's my goal. Like, you know, like I currently work in television, but like I'll be honest, like I love it and all, but like my main passion is film. So, you know, at least I got the plan B. If the film stuff doesn't work out, or if I'm like, yo, screw it, at least I know I got a job in TV, so it's like I can continue making a living off that. So I encourage any filmmaker that's watching this, whatever you're doing, like always have a plan B, because what happens if you don't make it? Or what happens if you have kids and you have a family and you're still doing this on the side? Like, and then, you know, your baby mama's going to be like, hey man, why you doing all this BS? Like, why you not out there, like, you know, trying to get another job and pay these bills and handle responsibility? Because that's how life is. So that's my advice. But if you're very passionate about it, you can always do both. Have a job on the side and do the films on the side. Work it out. Yeah.
Because, you know, that should not be an obstacle for you at all. Like, any filmmaker that thinks, oh, man, I'm working, you know, 9 to 5. I'm working 5 days straight. I ain't got time. I'm like, no, you can make the time. You can make the time. Because if I can make the time, so can anybody else. It's all about if you're passionate or not. That's it. That's how I see it.
And so you work, where do you work?
I work at Telemundo.
Okay. And how do you like it there?
I love it. I love every single minute of it. It's a different environment from what I was teaching out there, but it's still like our business, like the entertainment business. And it's I'll tell you like this, of all the jobs that I've ever worked, it's the best, but also the strangest job I've ever worked at, because it's like, I've worked in plenty of companies where it's like you meet employees and it's like, hey, how you doing? How are you? It's very family-like. Like, yo, I'm telling you, like, I'll have the anchors literally come up to me like, Jonathan, ¿cómo está contigo? Like, hugs and kisses. And I'm like, where I used to work at, it was like, if you even give somebody a hug, automatically that's sexual harassment right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I love my job. You know what I'm saying? I love everything about it. I love the fact that, like, you know, I can at least use cameras and stuff like that and interact with talent, because I use that experience as a director, because I'm a floor manager on certain days where I got to cue the anchors and let them know what they're supposed to do. Or sometimes you got to, like, you know, tell them exactly where they need to look at. It's a way to, like, you know, keep your, you know, keep a fast pace. And that's why I use that experience on my films, where it's like, I like to work at an extremely fast pace, and I like to, like, time myself. So then it's like, okay, we start at 12, we're going to finish at 8. And this is how we're going to do it. Like, the experience of television has, you know, helped me make movies a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Where I know a lot of filmmakers, they take their time and they do that, and I respect that. But with me, it's like having that TV experience. It's like I'm used to working at this fast pace. Like, no, we gotta go. We gotta do it right here and right now, because that's how it's like in my job. There's no like slowing down. There's no like, we gotta do it like this on this certain day, or no, let's change it up. Everything is pre-planned to the T. So I try to do that when I'm working on my projects now. So that's the one thing I'm glad about my job, is that it's taught me how to, like, you know, come to film at a different direction, and I'm proud of it because, hey, it gets me paid, and I'm all about getting paid. It pays my bills, and I'm blessed to have a job like that. So I always and to be honest, like, I love film, but I'm all about the money too. So like, as long as I get to pay my bills and I get to live a decent living, then I'm good with that.
Yeah, you have to care about your art, but at the same time, you got to care about your finances and your life outside of your creative process.
Absolutely.
Those things are important. So what's the craziest experience you've had working? Hey, just in the last year, we had a lot of crazy things happen, you know, with Trump being elected and the hurricane.
The hurricane was the craziest one. Out of everything that I've experienced this year, the hurricane was the craziest, because we worked 14 days straight.
Yeah.
We were on the air live for 4 days straight. And I was in that studio for 14 days. I actually spent the night upstairs in the building. And yo, let me tell you, the day when Irma hit us, we could actually hear the roof literally like just shaking. It was like shaking all over the place, and like and the lights kept flickering on and off. We lost power. I mean, it was getting really, really tense in that building. Like I took pictures of the event. I remember I uploaded that one time. Like, I took pictures of what we were going through. Like, we were literally living there together, and it was the longest 13 days of my life, because I was like, yo, when am I going to go home? Like, yo, this is insane. Like, why are we live on the air for 4 days straight? Like, ain't nobody going to be watching TV. The lights are going to be out anyway. Like, so I think the Hurricane Irma, like, it was the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I'd never worked 13 days straight and actually staying there, because we were forced to stay there. They would not allow us to.
You can't leave.
Yeah, because
they need you.
They need you. So they're like, no. Like, when I went back home, like, I actually went back home it was the same day I went back home, because I lived right by to the studio. Yo, that was crazy. There was trees all over the road and stuff like that. Like, I remember, like, I saw this car, like, literally a car just like flipped. I was like, damn. So and to be honest, like, the only time I saw something like that was Hurricane Wilma, but that was like 12 years ago. So I hadn't seen a hurricane in a while. So I saw this and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And also seeing Biscayne Boulevard just being flooded on the news.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy too.
Oh, I remember like seeing like the Brickell area on the news like being super flooded.
Yo, that was flooded, and also we saw Miami International Airport flooded. Like, dude, it was so bad. Like, they were about to like bring out like speedboats because it was flooded. I remember seeing that, and we were also like, you know, I was following people on Facebook Live and seeing people literally like freaking out, like, it's the end of the world, we're all gonna die.
I was like, bro, like the last 10 years, people have been telling me, man, like, Florida's not gonna exist in a couple years. You know, we got 50 years, we got 20 years.
Yeah, I believe that.
And when I saw like the map of like the trajectory of where the hurricanes come, like, you know what? This is how it happens. It doesn't sink over time like that. It's one day something crazy is gonna happen, and the whole state's gonna fall under. So I was like, I'm out, bro. I went up north.
Yeah, I saw that, and then it went up north to
and
Tampa.
Then it came after me.
I saw that.
And then I got a text message from my cousin down here, like the exact same time that I got the alert, where it's like, bah, bah, like I was about to fall asleep. And then bam, bam, and bling, bling. And my cousin's like, yo, it missed us. It's coming for you. Straight to Tampa.
Yo, and let me tell you, I had a friend that bolted out of here, and he was headed to Georgia. And he's like, y'all gonna get hit with the hurricane. Yeah. And then the hurricane hits to Georgia. And I was like, you screwed now, kid.
I was like serious. I was like, bro, we gotta get out, or we're gonna die. Bro.
I was about to bolt too. I was like this, like the day before it hit us, I was about to pack all my stuff and go to New York to go visit my family. But like, I knew that if I would have left, I knew not only I would have got fired, but I'm pretty sure I would have been blacklisted from the business because I basically left during a hurricane where everybody else stayed.
You're like a traitor. What do they call it? Like what's that word? Like when you leave the army?
Oh, you were AWOL'd or something?
Yeah,
like you were AWOL. Yeah,
AWOL.
I was this close into leaving because I was panicking, but like I realized it like yo, if we die, well, at least I'll die in a safe place
with your familia.
No, and my mom, and I was worried about my mom and my family too because they were out there, but they were like they didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but I was getting really paranoid because again, like when you're working in the news and you're working 12-hour shifts and you're seeing nothing but craziness on the news, it starts to mess with your head and you start to get paranoid and you start to have this anxiety like, are we all gonna die? Like, yo, I mean, I got an opportunity to get the hell out of here and like, it's like, but I'm glad that overall it was bad, but thankfully it didn't do too much damage. Mm-hmm. And I want to give a shout out to all my people in Puerto Rico, man, with the stuff that's going on with y'all with Maria. That was bad. Yeah. Maria was pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm glad that they finally just got back power and, things are slowly coming together, but I know that it's going to take years for that country to get back together from the losses and all the destruction that Maria did out there.
Yeah, we got really lucky.
We got truly lucky.
We got really lucky compared to them because, like, it just curved on us last minute, but it really hit them full strength.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Matthew. Remember last year when we were supposed to get like the Category 4 Hurricane Matthew? It was supposed to hit, but then it just did like a slide.
That happens, and a lot of people thought it was gonna just sort of slide away, and I was just like, I just kind of mapped it out. I was like, all right, if the hurricane's gonna hit this day, like I don't work these 2 days, by this day they're if they're gonna call everybody out of work because it's gonna be too crazy, like just to prepare. So I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna leave, take this as a vacation, because bro, that was the longest vacation I had in 2 years when I took like a week and a half, like I went up there free, no tolls, like it's intense,
Listen, if there's one thing I'll say about Hurricane Irma, there's only one good thing, well, two good things that nobody that I knew was hurt or killed, thank God. And the second best thing about this whole experience is that I got the biggest paycheck that I ever got in my life.
I bet.
So thank you, Hurricane Irma, for all that money that I made because, man, I was able to pay off a nasty debt this year. So thank you, Hurricane Irma.
It's intense. It's actually really crazy because we're doing a lot of remodeling, and it's thanks to like a loan that Trump's putting through for
can I tell you something
for the hurrane?
Can I tell you something about Trump?
Yeah.
Like, so you know about the tax reformation thing, right?
Yeah,
okay, so apparently my company, and it's been all over the news, like apparently my company is awarding all their employees an extra $1,000 for the tax reformation thing. And I was like, so you mean to tell me that Trump is giving me more bread this year? Like, yo, I'm like, what's going... I mean, I don't know what's going on, man, but, like, I'll be honest. I'm not trying to get too political because this ain't the type of place to get political, but, like, I got strong opinions on the man, but, hey, if he's trying to get me paid, then I'll take his money, but I ain't gonna like him.
Yeah, my dad asked me that last night. He's like, hey, if he gives you $500, you like him now? And I go, no. That doesn't take away what he's done to this country for the last year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I ain't gotta like him, but you know what? Hey, if he wants to give me money, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta like you. I mean,
the thing is like when it comes down to it, we don't know what he's doing, how that's gonna affect us in 4 years, or what debt that's gonna put us in. So it's like we can say like, yo, yeah, we want the money or we want the help and this and that, but we don't know what that's gonna do to the rest of the country.
Like, yeah, I'm still a little about it, but you know what? At the end of the day, man, let's see what else happens. I mean, let's see what else happens.
I don't remember exactly when, but whenever we had the solar eclipse, like I started seeing, like I was like waiting, because I know you, last time we talked, we were talking about that, you were saying a lot of people at your job were like super Trump supporters, that when Fidel died, they were like, thank Trump.
Yes. Yo, and it's hardcore out there. It's hardcore. But, like, you can't even talk politics out there because you're gonna get ganged up. Like, oh, well, you getting paid now? Like, oh my God, when they made that announcement at my job about the bonus, everybody was like, you see, didn't I tell you? No, I had one guy tell me, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you you're gonna make more money? Thank you, Trump. And you said no. Yeah, so it's like, whatever, bro, man. I'll take his money. I like money, so like, why I gotta like him?
Yo, but so yeah, like yeah, I remember you were saying that, and I was curious to ask you because like around the time we had the solar eclipse, it was it solar eclipse? Yeah, it was a few months ago.
Yeah.
And basically, like I had the Spanish news on like either Telemundo or Univision. Like my grandma was watching, and they were talking about like. They were talking about like, oh, what does this mean? Like, what does the lunar eclipse mean? They're like, Trump's like birthday is this and that. That's the thing of the devil. And I was like, wait. Is the Spanish news starting to like flip sides right now? Because they were starting to equate, like they're always fear mongering and like talking about like this is coming, like this is like the Zika. Is it gonna kill everybody you know?
But you know,
and, like,
but let me tell you,
I'm
something.
Like, are they flipping sides?
Bruh,
like.
But let me tell you something, and this is my opinion. Again, I'll be honest. My knowledge on science is very limited. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like the solar eclipse had something to do with all these hurricanes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like, because we've had hurricanes, but bro, we had, like, 3 to 4 nasty ones this year. I mean, we had Harvey that demolished Houston. Mm-hmm. Remember that one? Yeah. And then we had Irma that went... I mean, thankfully it wasn't that bad, but it still hit us pretty hard. Like, I remember before it hit us, it was like turning into a category 5. And I'm like, yo, we all gonna die.
Yeah.
And then Maria hit, and it was like, damn, son. One after another. And Cuba was affected too by Irma. Yeah. So it's like, I'm thinking like, and all these natural disasters, the earthquake in Mexico, and then recently the forest fires in California, it's like, you start to think like, yo, what in the world is going on, B? Like, Is this like? I mean, I get science, but you know, I was thinking like I don't remember all this craziness happening in a while. Like this is like some crazy stuff. So I thought it had something to do with the solar eclipse. But again, this is just me just talking, freestyling. I don't have my facts right on this, so I can't really say that it was the solar eclipse. But I just have that feeling like ever since that solar eclipse happened, that's when all the craziness has started coming in terms of like nature. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I noticed that we never had any big issues like that in the past. I mean, not that I can remember. So I don't know.
It's every so often. I knew something was gonna come because, you know, it's been a while. Like in Florida, I mean, growing up, I know it was like every few years we had like a pretty crazy hurricane. We hadn't had one in a while, you know, since like Wilma.
Yeah. And I was there.
That one was really bad, and I remember it, and I was like, it was hard to get water. Like people were going crazy. Like everything was wild, and I was like, you know, where I'm at now, like my anxiety level, I was like, I'm gonna leave. Like I'm not gonna, like, even if everything's straight, I don't want to be around people when like like getting gas was a mission. I had to cut like 30 people to get gas, and they had me working. I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna be out here driving around while gas is impossible. They wanted you to
drive during the hurricane? Yo, they crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? These people don't care about humans. When things get crazy like that, people turn into savages. And it was a little fun for a couple of days, like, you know, to drive around, and it was it was the closest thing to like a zombie apocalypse. Like when you feel it coming, you're like, and I was like, this is kind of tight, but at the same time, like, it's gonna get wild.
Yeah,
like it's not gonna be comfortable.
I felt it coming, like, cause I remember like days before it came, like I remember I was depositing mad cash on me because I don't know when we were gonna be out of power. I filled up my tank, and I remember I got like one of those gas canisters, and I was like, yo, just in case if we don't get gas for a while, cause I didn't know what was gonna happen. But I was gonna ask you, how long were you out of power? Cause with me, the next day I got power back. So I was like,
I mean, I had no idea how long it was gonna be because I went up to Tampa and Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really lose power or anything. Like I was like, every time the hurricane got closer, I went up higher because I planned to visit my mom in Tampa and then my sister in Gainesville. So once it was really coming, I was up in Gainesville, and we were chilling, watching Netflix, watching Moana like 300 times. So like it was cool. Like for me, when I came back, like they told me in my house, like, you know, my tree was destroyed, my backyard completely destroyed, but they were like, yeah, like no, like we had power, it only went off for a little bit. Like everything was straight here, besides all the damage, and it was just like wild. And the Wi-Fi was out for like a week. Like phone lines was out for a week, and we're still dealing with it. Like legit, like my phone line is terrible still. Like off of that, I didn't even know that that's how like the Wi-Fi works. Like I legit thought, like, I didn't understand that could happen. That like that like I don't know, like lines and stuff like that. I didn't understand how that affected. I thought it came up from a satellite, so like I didn't think a hurricane would I thought once the clouds go away, we'd be straight.
Yeah.
They're like something about the phone lines and stuff. And I was like, on cell phones, like I didn't understand it. So so let me see. So with your new projects, like what sort of what have you learned about the writing process and everything?
Well, I've learned to like have characters basically do more while they're talking. Like as in like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like before I would always have like a character just sit there and just say their lines. Now it's like I want them to be doing something like, oh, or you know what I did too in this one I did, the Loyalty and Betrayal, like I had a bunch of characters in the background, and before I would always have like characters just stand there and do nothing. I would have now characters just doing something in the background, just like, you know, have like a good depth of feel, like just because I remember I would look back at my movies, I'm like, why do I have this person just standing there doing nothing? They should be doing something, talking on the phone, walking, or just do something, because it looks very fake. Like I've learned from that, and I've learned what I've also learned too from just, you know, film in general is just like basically try different things. Every film that I do, I try to do like something completely different than what I normally do. Whether it's a style, whether it's the way it's shot, whether it's the way it looks, whether it's the genre itself. Because I also look at film as a challenge, and I like challenges, and I like to challenge myself. If I succeed, great. If I don't, well, you know what? I learned a lesson from that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm getting better in terms of visual storytelling, but I still feel like I have a long way to go.
Mm. So, well, what I was gonna say was, yeah, like I kind of learned the same thing, when I did the Basketball Friends, second episode, we were like in a movie theater, so we had a lot of actors that were playing parts. But, you know, I was just like, you know, we might need some extras in here. So I invited people like, oh, come through, be an extra, come chill and everything.
Yeah.
And like nobody really showed up, just some of my friends. And then I realized how important extras are, because I was like, you don't think about it, but when there's no extras, you're like, what's going on there? Like it looks dead. Like it looks
odd.
It looks odd. Yeah, like we're not used to that. And it's not easy to be an extra in a way, because you have to be normal, and you kind of have to deal with not being the star. Like you're in the back, don't do anything too obvious, but you create atmosphere. Like
I know what you mean.
You allow it for the movie to feel realistic. You know.
Yo, let me tell you, because I did a couple of extra joints for Lifetime, because they did these killer movies. Boyfriend, yeah, they got this series called Boyfriend Killer, Girlfriend Killer, Marriage Killer, and now they got a one called Island Killer. Mm-hmm. So I was in two of them because my friend Carol Wood, shout out to Carol Wood, she like hooked me up with these extra joints, and like there was a couple actors that were literally asking like the ADs like, so what's my character's backstory?
For
and
extra?
Yo, for the extra, and literally the AD just looked at him like, you're the extra. You just stand there, okay?
For real?
Like, and they're like, and I looked at him like, bro, well, just stand there, smile, look pretty. That's it. Mm-hmm. But with being an extra, like what I was doing was, we did this one scene in Girlfriend Killer where this guy is proposing to another guy, and it's like a big party, like an office party. So I'm there, right? And everybody's like clapping, like, yeah, all right, hooray. So me and this dude, I told him straight up, like, look, let's be honest, let's have some fun with this. When they kiss and make up and all that, we should be the only two looking at it like, the hell is this? And mind you, I'm just going to clear something up. I'm not homophobic or nothing like that. I just figure like in a real life situation, not everyone's going to be happy about that. You know that there's going to be 2 or 3 people, some conservative people that are going to be like, that's the devil. That's the devil's work.
Yeah, it depends. Hold on, what are they doing, man? Oh, never mind. Yeah, but it depends on how it affects the mood.
Yeah,
like,
so
they might be like, oh, I don't know.
And then I found out that they kept my face in the movie.
For real?
Yeah, like I'm literally like this. I'm like, yay! And then I look at the boy like.
They kept you like a close up, or
yeah, well, it was like a wide shot, but you could see my face. It's visually seen in the movie, and I was shocked that they kept it, because I remember they were telling everybody to look happy, and I'm like, Until they say don't do it, I'm gonna keep doing it.
So you did a good job. You created a realistic atmosphere for the scene.
Yeah, so like that.
Not they would have cut
That's what I learned about extras and background. Like, you know, you gotta have like someone in the back like reacting to something, not just standing there and acting like there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Because you know that then it just looks fake. So that's something I learned. I learned about like just environments. And the one thing that I want to do in the future too, especially with this new project that I got coming out that we're in pre-production right now, I want to raise money to like up the production values of my projects now. Like a lot of my projects have always come out of pocket, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it has taken place in either my house, a friend's house, or a location where I didn't have a hard time getting a permit or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but now I want to change that because that's another challenge. I want to like really grow as a filmmaker, but in order to grow, like you're gonna have to do things that you normally don't do. You got to get out of your comfort zone. So, my goal right now for this next project next year, which is a New Year's resolution, next year I'm gonna get this project done. It's a short film, but we're gonna step the production value, which is a personal film for me. But I want it to come out dope. I want it to come out nice. Yeah. I don't want it to come out like every other short film that I've done in the past. I'm putting enough passion into it where we have like better locations, better equipment, a crew, and actually actors, and like the best talent that we can afford, and take my time with it. Because my thing with film, especially now, and I still do this, and I'm you know guilty of it. I'm known for cranking out projects left and right. I often do maybe 2 to 3, if not 4, short films a year. But I realize, yes, it's quantity over quality. But for this project right here, I'm willing to take a year just to focus on it because that's how important it is to me. And I know that if I take my time with this, and if we make sure that this thing goes smooth, it's gonna be really good in the long run.
Yeah, like we were saying, but I think, I mean, because you come from TV, it feels like quality over quantity. But when it comes to films, like it's really about quality, because that's why a lot of filmmakers like spend a long time really just in pre-production trying to get, even if it's a 4-minute short, they're like, you know, working it out and getting the locations, getting the actors, getting the clothing. So it's important for film, and that's why there's a higher level for film, or there's been a higher level for film in the past, was because of the attention to quality when it comes to the stories, the characters, the details. So yeah, like it's important to take time. Like I learned that too, that like, you know, with the film, like everything in the scene is important. It says something about your character. Like if it's their room, what posters do they have, what you know, like what pictures do they have. Like if they have too many pictures of themselves, they're a narcissist, you know. If they have a picture of a family, they're a family person. Like little details like that. The people, when they watch the movie, they look around the room, they look behind the actor, and they ask themselves, what do these things say? So they're just important to think about, you know. And on a big production, you have people that should be thinking of those things, like you know, creating the props, set design, and everything. They're like, you know, what pictures to put, what posters, just like we have a lighting person and a cinematographer for those specific things. So when it comes to independent filmmaking, sometimes that whole job becomes the director's responsibility, where he's like, I gotta think of this, you know.
I gotta say, like, I've come to appreciate like set designers and costume designers and wardrobe a lot more, where before I was like, who, like what, like what they do. But like once you start to do film and you start to like see everyone's job, like I feel like set designers are the most, like costume designers, I feel like they're the most underrated people. Like I feel like they don't get their props. Like, you know, we're always focusing on the director and the actor and the writer and the cinematographer and some of the other jobs. But, like, I feel like set designers and costume designers, at times, I feel like they don't get their due because they set up the look of the film. They bring out, like, this look that it's like, oh, damn, this feels like the, like, you know, that feels like the 80s or the 70s or it feels like ancient times. Like, I feel like they don't get their dues, in my honest opinion. And, like, I've come to not appreciate them before because it was like, whatever. But now, as you do more films and as you start to really appreciate and study the craft, it's like you gotta really, really give props to like those people because they go out of their way just to, you know, make the set look like, you know, make the set come to life with the storyboards and all the, you know, scripts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think like when you get a lot practice and you mature as a director, just in any field, you start looking at things in the aspect of how can I improve this film, how can I improve this, and set design something that sometimes you notice, like, yeah, a lot of set design is kind of basic, but the more you get into it, like if you watch a Guillermo del Toro
he's big
film,
on that.
he's huge. Like they said, I forget the name of the movie, but it was
Was it Pan's Labyrinth?
No, it was one a little more recent.
The one that just came out?
Well, I could talk about that one, but before it, they were saying
Pacific Rim?
No. He did one that was like it was with Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, the
it was like a haunted house type vibe.
I know what you're talking about. I forgot the name of it.
They were saying that like he's like I hand sewed all the dresses, and it was like old time gowns. And like when you watch the movie, like regardless to if you like the story or the way they did it, you're like, man, there's a lot of attention to detail in the castle, and those are things you can appreciate and bring into your own style. You know
what I'm starting to appreciate more? Like if you watch his early stuff and a little bit of his new stuff, Tim Burton is big on that too.
Yeah.
Like I was watching Edward Scissorhands the other day, and I'm like, man, just the details alone into like the suburban neighborhood that they live in, it just shows you how bland this neighborhood is.
Yeah.
And the attention to detail with Edward Scissorhands with his face and just the way he lives and the way he just reacts to people, like you come to appreciate even Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. Like the way Pee Wee's house looks, it's like damn. Like now, you know, as a casual viewer, you don't really pay attention to that. You're more focused on the story. It depends on who it is, but like as a filmmaker, you start to look at this and it's like, damn, man, they put a lot of time and effort with Pee Wee's house.
Yeah.
Like the breakfast scene. Have you seen Pee Wee Herman's movie?
I seen it a long time ago.
Well, look,
I
like
remember.
the minute he wakes up, he has like this big breakfast deal, and the way it's set up, like all he does is like press a button. I forgot how he got to the breakfast.
Is this the one where he does the tequila dance?
Yeah, that's the
I
one.
remember that part.
That was the one. Like that one. Like
so he loses his bike.
He loses his bike because someone steals it, and he's trying to get it back. And he goes on this big adventure from like Mexico, and then he goes to Warner Brothers Studios to try to get the bike back. He literally interrupts a Godzilla movie in the thing too. So you come to appreciate that a little more, and that's something that I'd like to do in the future. Like I hope if I ever get like a decent budget, I would like to do a project where like we could focus a lot on just the set design.
Yeah.
So then it's like, damn, this looks nice.
Yeah, I noticed that, and yeah, like a few years ago, I got really big on Tim Burton for the same reason. And you think about it, I think a lot of our favorite films, they're so iconic because of the set design. Like if you think of Back to the Future, or Jurassic Park, like they're things that are easy to adapt into like a Comic-Con culture because people want to dress up like their movie star. You know, they want to dress as Marty. You know, like I love Back to the Future too because of the Nike shoes.
And
those
are
so popular. And like it's just because somebody was very visionary with the design.
And
you know,
the hoverboards. Like I love the hoverboards.
Or like Jurassic Park, like the logos that they create for Jurassic Park. You know, the color scheme of the Jeeps and stuff, and like it's a funny movie because it's about product placement and stuff like that, but it's like it worked, you know, like it makes you as a viewer like want to go to Jurassic Park, you know, want to buy the shirts. I wish it was
real. Like, yo, I remember as a kid I wanted those goggles. Remember the night vision goggles that he puts on? I thought fresh. Like, yo, I would love to get that one day, man. That movie. You know what? I hope, like, look, if I don't make it, I hope I can make like a timeless movie, like a Jurassic Park or even a Goodfellas. Like, it could be anything, but I hope like one day, if I don't make it, if I don't make money off this, at least I hope one day I could say like I got a classic under my belt. Even if I don't win an Oscar, even if I don't make it, like that's the main goal for me, is to at least have a classic film under my belt where it's like this is a movie that will last forever, for time on. Like Jurassic Park will always be loved forever. Back to the Future will be loved forever. And I don't care what anyone says, Goodfellas will be loved forever. Yeah. Like those movies are iconic because they stood out and they were able to push the boundaries of just being different. You know what I'm saying? So like I hope one day I can make a movie like that where it's like this is a movie that's going to stand the test of time. This is a movie that we will never forget.
Well, maybe it'll be your next one, you know?
Who knows?
Just gotta put time into. I watch a lot of behind the scenes,
me too.
Stuff because especially from the '90s, it's really good because you're like, you know, the type of things they're doing, practically, are things that we can sort of accomplish now because we don't have to spend as much money on equipment. Like we can get a similar vibe for more of an indie budget, you know. So just the time, like I asked myself because I was watching one for Indiana Jones. And they were saying, you know, we're low budget, you know, we have very little budget, so everything we do, we have to be very precise. And I was like, that was a little budget? I don't know. It looked so good.
It looked like so good, right?
Yeah, and really it's like I think when you have a small budget, you do more planning and more figuring out of ways to make something look great with less money.
I feel like for me, like depending on who it is, like I feel like if you're given such a low budget, I feel like that's an advantage to your creativity, because that's when you really got to think like, okay, I ain't got much money to spend, but like this is where I gotta, see what I can do to make this like stand out. Like,
but give us some money too.
Yeah, for real. Give us money, please. I would love that. Hopefully I can meet my goal next year.
I can't be creative when I'm broke. It just makes me sad. You gotta give me some money too. Like, I could be a little sad, but not too sad. Like, But so have you seen any movies this year?
I've seen a lot. I've seen the one I want to see is The Disaster Artist, but I haven't had time because of work. For me, right now, since it's the end of the year, the one movie that I saw that I loved and I think it's the best film of the year, I thought was Baby Driver.
Okay.
I love Baby Driver, man. I went to go. I said it's the first movie in years that I went to go to the theater see it again and again. Okay. I normally don't do that because now today it's like, you'll drop a movie today and that movie will probably be on the streets bootleg or you'll see it on Netflix. But like, I loved Baby Driver so much that like I went to go see it again in the theater because I thought, man, that was just a great freaking movie. It was a great experience. Like, that movie inspired me to step up my editing game up.
Yeah.
Like that, it had some of the tightest editing I've seen in such a long time, man. Like, Edgar Wright, man, I'm a big fan of him right now, man. I used to think he was whatever, but like after watching Baby Driver and really appreciating Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and At the World's End, it's like, this man got skills. And I just saw Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I'm like, why didn't I like this dude? He really inspires me, man.
Yeah, I think what makes his movies so tight and like you could tell he has a lot of attention to detail when it comes to his style. It's because he writes it in. Like in his scripts, he writes, the shots. He writes the music that's gonna play. He's very specific on that. So yeah, I heard an interview with him where he was talking about the specific songs syncing up with the shots. Like, he knew how long each shot had to be. And he wanted to do a lot of one take ones, so that they're gonna be going in and out, where it's gonna where he's gonna cheat it, so it looks like it's one shot, but it's really like they're taking up from another spot. And it's a lot of attention to pre-production detail, and I think people are afraid to put the time in to do that, but once you do it a lot, you get the hang of a way to do it quicker. And
I think that's why it takes him like 3 to 4 years just to do another movie. Because if you look at it, he hasn't done a lot of movies. He's done like maybe 5 or 6. But I see why, because he's putting so much attention to detail, like Quentin Tarantino. Because Quentin's great, but he doesn't drop like 20 movies like a decade.
Kubrick didn't have that many movies. He only had like 6, 7 movies.
Kubrick, he only had like maybe 12 or something like that. I don't know.
He didn't have that many. Because he would spend like 7, 10 years researching. Like, he had a movie, I think it was about Napoleon or something, that he never got to do. That he wanted to do a war movie. Yeah. But he just never. He spent super long researching, trying to get it super right, and I don't think he ever was able to do it.
Yeah, and I heard that he was supposed. Did you ever see AI, artificial intelligence?
Oh yeah.
I heard that that was him. He was supposed to do that one, but then he passed away. And I'll be honest, I saw the movie. I mean, and I'm a big Spielberg fan. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it makes me curious. How would Kubrick would have done it? And mind you, and I know I'm gonna get some flack on this, I'm not the biggest Kubrick fan, but I appreciate what he's done in terms of cinema. Like, Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket, Barry Lyndon, a Clockwork Orange. Like, I've seen them. They're not my favorite films, but in terms of a visual aspect, I can see why people are so influenced by this guy.
Yeah,
he ain't my cup of tea, but hey,
he's like a filmmaker's filmmaker. So it's like somebody like Spielberg will watch his movies and take his techniques and apply them to his style. So it's like Spielberg's his approach is a little bit more like consumer friendly sometimes. It's more like family oriented.
He plays it safe,
mainstream.
Yeah. Like, but I like when he doesn't play it safe, like Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List. Like, and did you ever see Munich?
I've seen it.
Like, I saw that the other day, and I was like, you know what, man, I wish Spielberg would do more R-rated stuff because he don't hold back.
There's a really good documentary from HBO that they did this year, Spielberg.
Yeah, I wanted to see that one.
Good. Yeah,
I need to see that one. No,
they show you like his life and how it sort of influenced his art. With his family's divorce and stuff like that, his relationship with his father. like things like that. It's really good.
I was gonna ask you. Speaking of documentaries, did you see the one with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Was that good? Because I want to see that one.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Because
it's beautiful.
I ain't got Netflix.
You don't got Netflix?
I ain't got no Netflix.
Man, but you got this overtime money. You can get a free subscription.
I got bills.
Nah, you gotta come on, man.
I got bills.
Yo, John, you have a lot of friends and a lot of supporters. Somebody hit him with the Netflix password. Come on.
You know what? That's a good idea.
How many friends you got on Facebook?
Like 2,000 out. And yo, and let me tell you,
all you need is one Netflix password.
Like, yo, hook me up with that Netflix, and if you can, hook your boy up with, like, you know, a producer that be interested in producing this next short film I'm doing. Yeah. Just throwing it out there.
But let's just get this Netflix password first.
Yeah, because I need to,
sometimes you ask for too much, you know, people don't respond.
Exactly.
But they're like, Netflix, I got that.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm missing Stranger Things right now. I haven't even finished the first season.
Oh, you're missing Black Mirror.
Yeah, I'm missing Black Mirror, and I do want to watch that Will Smith movie, too. I don't care what anyone says. It's Will Smith.
All right, do you, bro.
But yeah, so that's what's going on right now. I mean right now for next year I'm trying to, like, you know, get the Side Effects project coming out. Like, that one's gonna be coming out very soon. And then we're gonna start focusing on this the one that I'm telling you about, the one I want to raise money for, which is called Ups and Downs, which is like it's kind of like basically like somewhat personal film for me, because it's based on my life, on certain things that happen in my life. And you know, it's the first time I've ever touched on a topic like this, because I'll be honest, a lot of my films have all been genre related. They've never, I feel like,
gangster films,
zombie films, wacky stupid comedy films. I've only done one movie that I can consider to be somewhat real, and even I'm a little about it, was that George and Angie one that I did 2 years ago. And since then, it's like I've been trying to do different things, but I haven't done anything personal or anything that people could relate to. Mm-hmm. So that's my goal. I want to do a movie, which I know I will next year, something that people can relate to, something that people can, like, you know, get behind of, and something that won't turn people off. Because I feel like the movies that I'm doing, and I will admit, and I'm not ashamed of it, I'm doing movies for myself, but I think it's about time that I also try to do movies to also, you know, that people might like as well. Because at the end of the day, when I do these short films, because I know that, you know, with no budget and no marketing, like, I'm basically doing movies for myself that I would like to watch. But you also gotta, like, you know, do movies that people can relate to as well. Like, I love gangster films, but not everyone likes them.
I think you need to do movies that you want to do, but in the back of your head, you have the consideration for how the audience is gonna feel. You know, don't do something people want or you think people want, but do something that you want to do. But have, like, for me, I have little voices in the back of my head that tell me, like, oh, this person's going to relate to this person's not going to get this.
Yeah.
You know? And those things, like, guide me and help me just clarify the script. If I feel like, okay, this is what I love, and this is what I understand, but I know certain people are going to get it, maybe I can add something in there to bridge the gap between the type of genre I like and the type of genre that people that I know are more accustomed to seeing, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it just takes more, like, you know, you get to know people and you see the type of movies they like. You can sort of drop something in your movie that they can relate to as a vantage point, like, oh, okay, now I understand what this is, you know?
Yeah. And I have a feeling like this, the Side Effects that I'm doing that's almost being finished, I feel like a lot of people might like that one, because it's more like, and it's more like an audience-friendly film. Like, this is something that I know people will probably get a kick out of, but I want to do something that's just real and from the heart. So I'm looking forward to that one next year, and that's the plan right now. Just next year, focus on that, make my money, and just hopefully, like, network and travel. Like, I'm trying to do that too for next year. Like, just travel, like, go outside of the state, you know. So,
is there any other movies that you saw this year that you really liked, or any movies you're waiting for?
Okay, I'm waiting for Godzilla. That's the one I'm waiting for.
There's an American Godzilla?
They're making the Godzilla Part 2.
Is he fighting King Kong or anything?
No, he's fighting Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. It's like an all-out brawl. He ain't fighting King Kong until 2020. Yeah. That's the one I'm looking forward to. The Disaster Artist. I need to see that ASAP.
Go, man. You got the day.
Yo, after this, you and I, we're going to get something to eat. I'm going to call it a day. I'm tired.
I'm going to go to Dayland. Return some gifts. Hey, yeah, what about that Pacific Rim 2?
Oh, I'm looking. That one looks tight. I want to see that one.
What about that Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, The Rampage? I felt like that might have been like a secret. I was like, this looks like it could be like a secret, like tie into the Godzilla King Kong
Wait,
franchise.
is that the one where the monsters like?
You haven't seen it?
I saw
with
the trailer.
Rock?
Yeah.
It looks crazy.
You know what? For some odd reason, that's the only Dwayne Johnson movie I want to watch. Cause that Jumanji shit pissed me off.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Jumanji? You saw it?
I saw it.
It wasn't good? I heard people say it was good. That it was fun for the whole family.
You might like it. I wasn't really feeling it.
I'm not interested, but I heard it wasn't as bad as it looked.
It was. I wasn't interested. Like, I'll be honest. Another thing too. I just don't like Kevin Hart.
You don't like Kevin Hart? Kind of over him too. A little bit.
He outlasted his welcome. Like
I think he's like on cliche right now.
He's phoning
He needs to switch it up a little bit and do something. Maybe it's time to him to try something more serious. Because even Jim Carrey didn't go this long with doing just comedy films.
And Eddie Murphy eventually knew that I can't do this comedy shit.
Yeah, he needs to what do you call it?
Switch it up.
He needs to challenge himself a little more.
But he ain't gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bet you he ain't gonna do it because you know what? All these movies that he's doing, he's getting millions of dollars. And if he starts doing something serious and it flops, ain't nobody gonna call him. That's because I'm telling you, if he really wanted to show off, he would have done it a lot sooner. Because Jim Carrey, like, once he did, like Ace Ventura and all these other movies, then he did Truman Show. But that was like 4 years into his career. Kevin Hart, he's been doing this for like 10 damn years, and he's been playing the same character. I'm pretty sure if he wanted to change, he would have done it a long time ago. But I don't think he is, because at the end of the day, when they're throwing you millions of dollars to your face, how can you say no?
Him and The Rock. I mean, The Rock should try something a little more dramatic. I don't know if he can even do it, because he's such The Rock.
He can't do it. You know what I think?
Like, you know who has diversity, who can, like, switch it up? Like, John Cena's pretty good.
I like John Cena.
Cena's showing improving, like, his versatility.
John Cena has improved a long way.
And Batista
really for me,
I think he's the best wrestler.
He's the best one right now, because he keeps getting better and better.
In Blade Runner, he was like, he transformed. And he wasn't there that much in the new Blade Runner movie, but like I just like seeing him. I think he's good, I
really liked him in the new Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought he was really dope, because I liked him in the first one, but like I liked that they gave him more shit to do, and I'm like, he's getting better. He's like the comic relief in a comedy movie. But he's awesome though. Like, he's supposed to be this big badass, but he got some great lines. Like, I love Batista, man. Batista, he's kicking ass. I'm loving John Cena. The Rock, I agree. I feel like, and I'm always going to support The Rock, but I feel like I think, in my personal opinion, I think he knows he doesn't have that range. So that's why he does the same shit, because it's like, well, hey, I'm getting paid.
I think he's more on, like, quantity than quality.
Exactly. And
I think he's thinking more like, I'm going to churn out, like, 2 movies a year at least. Like, I'm going to just keep going hard. It's like a mentality, like a gym mentality. Like, I'm going to hit the gym this many times a day. But instead of just focusing and, like, saying, like, I'm going to make sure that this is this and this is that. But in a way, it's not necessarily an actor's position to worry too much about how the quality of the film is.
No, it's not. It's all about... But can I ask you something? Of all the movies that he's done, like... Which one would you say is like his best one? Because I've seen a lot of his movies, but I can't name a good one that I'll go back and be like, yo, that shit was dope.
I think he was pretty good in Central Intelligence. He was okay.
I hated that movie.
What other movies has he done? What's a good movie he did?
Okay, the one that I liked, and again, that's the one where he kind of like relived his career, was a Fast Five, where he played Hobbs.
Yeah,
I liked him in that.
I think they try to give him a little bit more in that new one. They try to
because they're trying to
solidify his character.
Yeah, they're trying to get him and Jason Statham as like best buddies and shit like that. And then Tyrese, he went on that rant, and I thought that was the funniest shit of all time.
Yeah,
like, did you see those videos that Tyrese was doing?
Yeah, no, because I think Tyrese thought that he was irreplaceable in the franchise, and they said no. We want The Rock. You're replaceable. Like, we'll do a different franchise.
And he flipping out talking about all this bullshit. But I'm like, because I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the videos, I felt kind of bad. But then he did the second video where he's at his house and he's cooking.
What do you want from me? What do you want? I just want my baby. He just wants to be a showman.
Okay, he's just an intentional.
He's sad because they're taking away his biggest platform.
But here's the thing too, and this is why I had an issue with him, because he says that he's broke, right? So then he got another video where he's cooking breakfast for his wife. and I see this man's house and his kitchen. This man got a big ass transformer like thing.
Yeah,
Hello?
I heard about it. Yeah.
He's got like a big ass like transformer doll in his house. He's got a kitchen that's bigger than this entire living room, and I'm over here like, so you supposed to be broke?
Being broke is a state of mind. You can have a lot of money and still be broke. Tyrese is broke in his heart.
He broke, and I feel his sympathies. But then I found out that the videos were all like, you know, fake because he didn't take his pills or nothing like that, and he was looking for attention. And I'm just like, man, bro, like, come on.
Well, it's not fake. It's just he was being like manic, you know. But whatever. Let's not talk about Tyrese anymore. So all right. So
Wait, you was recording all that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
So what? I don't know. Anything else? Any last thoughts or anybody you want to shout out?
All right, I want to give a shout out to my homegirl Annie Jones, Annie Jones. I know that she's in Basketball Friends as well. And wait, speaking of movies, when we gonna see McClintock 2?
When I'm done with it.
New Year, like you got like a date?
I wanted to finish up in December, like all the movies, because they're all just like needing some sound and stuff. Like I just gotta put some finishing touches. But I've been just busy with work, busy with just people hitting me up for music videos, random things like that. So those things I always end up thinking I can accomplish quicker, so I put it off. But I'm trying to finish up. In January. I'm gonna take off a lot more time. I'm gonna be a lot more free, so I'm gonna focus on first finishing everything that I have, and then second, promoting and finding like a home for all that stuff. You know, making sure that when I do a screening or we release whatever we do, that I take the time and thought in order to push it further, because I don't want to. My biggest thing is, what are you gonna do once you finish? So I try to figure that out before I finish.
Nah, I feel you.
And sometimes that puts the date in limbo.
Nah, I hear you. But let me get back to these shout outs before we wrap this up. I want to give a shout out to my homegirl Annie Jones. I want to give a shout out to my homegirl Amanda Ortega. I want to give a big shout out, and you know, it's only right because we just lost a good friend of ours last week on Christmas Eve. I want to give a big shout out to William Alexander. I just recently I worked with him like 2 years ago on George and Angie. And, you know, it's a shame and it's a tragedy that, you know, he's not with us anymore. But I want to, you know, take out my respects and say we miss you, man. Rest in peace. And if anyone out there that's watching this, and, you know, if you knew Will, like, his family, they set up like a GoFundMe page to like donate for his funeral. If you find it, I'll probably share it on my page, and I'm pretty sure he will. Please donate, because, you know what I'm saying, he was a good guy, and in my honest opinion, one of the best actors who was down here, and I felt like he could have really, really went places, and he was a good dude overall. So I want to give, you know, pay my respects to him. Rest in peace. And I want to give a shout out to my boy David De La Fey, that crazy mofo, man. He knows what's up. Mm-hmm. And get ready, 2018. It's a new year. It's a new beginning. We're going to come in here. We're going to kick ass and take some names and make some good movies and holla.
For sure. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, John, for being here for the second time. Back for the second time. Incognito. And so, yeah, like, thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe and watch my previous interview with John for some more info and a little backstory and stuff. And check out the other ones as well. Thank you guys. Also, let me know in the comments who you want to see next, you know. Really interested in meeting some new people and getting their take on how it is to be out here in South Florida and everywhere else.
Yo, you know who I want to see? I want to see Jonathan Cuartas on here. Cuartas, you know what's up?
We're in conversations. We just haven't set the date yet. John, get on the date.
Better get on the date, bro. Don't make me call you. I know you don't like talking on the phone. I will make sure you do this interview.
All right, guys. Rebel Film Talk. See y'all.